Happy Sunday. Welcome to the party. You're from the Neighborhood Mastercast, back with you once again for another box set review Sunday. Now, today is a little different, slightly different. We've never done a Criterion box set, and I thought, well, since I got that giant Criterion haul, we might as well do one today. More than 4 decades after he took a razor blade to an eyeball and shocked the world with Un Chien Andalou, arch iconoclast Luis Bunuel capped his astonishing career with 3 final provocations: The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie, The Phantom of Liberty, and That Obscure Object of Desire, in which his renegade, free-associating surrealism reached its audacious, self-detonating endgame. Working with such key collaborators as screenwriter Jean-Claude Carrier and his own frequent on-screen alter ego, Fernando Rey, Buñuel laced his scathing attacks on religion, class pretension, and moral hypocrisy with savage violence to create a trio of subversive, brutally funny masterpieces that explore the absurd randomness of existence. Among the director's most radical works, as well as some of his greatest international triumphs, these films cemented his legacy as cinema's most incendiary revolutionary. So what we have here are his 3 final films, and as the back of the box explicitly states, they are revolutionary for many reasons. There's a lot of themes in here that I'm not going to go into. I'll be honest, I'm not going to give you a scholarly look at the films here. I'm just going to give you my honest impressions on the film as a fan and as a Criterion Collection collector. This is a box set that brings together 3 movies that have previously existed in the catalog. Yes, they all have different spine numbers that range, of course, in release dates. So they've all existed before. I think this is the first time they're on DVD. I'm sorry, on Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure this is the first time they're on Blu-ray. So I'm going to give you my honest impressions of the films. Having watched, I've seen them all except for Phantom of Liberty. This is the first time I've seen Phantom of Liberty, but I've seen the other 2 previously on DVD. Should you get it? Number 1, if you're not a Criterion collector, if you're not into foreign films, if you're not into what's the best way to put it without sounding like I'm insulting the movies? If you're not into mindfucks, this isn't for you. 100% this isn't for you. Don't even worry about it. Maybe if you see it on streaming somewhere, if you have the Criterion channel, I think they're on there, watch it that way. But I would not recommend this to the layperson, somebody who's going in blind, somebody who's just starting a Criterion collection. This probably isn't the first place to start, unless you've seen the movies before. Let's start with the first one here. This is The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. This is my favorite in the box. I'm not sure what this artwork means. It's very Salvador Dali-like, and I think that just kind of goes with the territory. This digipack opens up like so, and it comes with a booklet. I haven't had a chance to read through the booklet. It's an exhaustive look at his films, interviews with Luis Bunuel himself and things like that. Quite interesting stuff, I'm sure. When I have the time to read it, I will. Maybe there'll be a whole video where I don't know if I'm allowed to read the booklets on YouTube. Anyway, The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. Essentially, what you have here, I should put the booklet in here so it fits better. Yeah, there we go. It closes better that way. Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. Very hard to describe this movie. Essentially, they're all hard to describe. But essentially what you have here is a bunch of friends that keep trying to get together for a dinner party. But those dinner parties get interrupted for some reason. In the beginning of the movie, they all come to the house of one of their friends, and the wife's like, oh, what? Oh, no, the party wasn't today. I think it was for tomorrow. They're like, oh, sorry, well, let's go out to dinner. So they all go out to dinner, but the restaurant that they chose, there's a funeral going on. So like, oh, no, well, let's not eat here. It goes on and on like that. This is a pretty funny movie. It's and that's a sliding scale, by the way. This isn't a laugh out loud Mel Brooks type of funny. This is more of like how witty, how droll. Oh, that's so bizarre that's happening. That's actually just kind of a funny situation. Funny on a Curb Your Enthusiasm type of scale. I like this movie very much, but it's not for everybody. None of these movies are for everybody, to be honest. But this is probably the one that, if you're trying to get into Buñuel's later work, this is the one you should probably go to first. I think it's the most digestible. There's still stuff in it that doesn't make any sense. There's drug trafficking. There's a whole kind of like gangster subplot that's not even the point of the movie. And you realize early on, Luis Bunuel's just fucking with you. He's just fucking with you, man. There's scholars on here saying, "Oh yes, this means this means that." Ah yes, I think what he was trying to mean was, yes, the patriarchy and whatever and Marxism and things like that. You know what? Maybe a little bit, but honestly, it sounds like he's just fucking with you, man. He's just and at one point later on in one of the movies, they interviewed the screenwriter. He goes, "Yeah, we were just making nonsense. We were just trying to come up with the craziest things we could think of." That's all it is. And if you accept it for what it is, you're gonna have an okay time with these movies. I think if you dig too deeply, you might be disappointed. That's my opinion. But this one's my favorite one. I'm gonna give this one 4 stars. Phantom of Liberty is up next, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on with this picture. There's like a butt with a Statue of Liberty ensemble. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, and to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what's going on in this movie either. Now, in my screenwriting career, I've always wanted to make a movie that is designed just like this movie. And unfortunately, now I know it doesn't really work. The conceit of the movie is we start with one really bizarre story, and then it morphs into another story. For example, there's a scene where this lady, she works for a doctor. This is in the middle of the movie, by the way. She works for a doctor. She gets a message that her dad is sick. So the doctor's like, "Yeah, go ahead, go see your dad." So she travels. She gets lost. She stops at an inn for the night. She spends the night hanging out with some monks that want to play poker. And there's a young guy who's having an affair with his aunt, his much older aunt. And there's a dude, Michael Lonsdale, by the way, who he's there with a dominatrix. And he invites people into his room to watch him get whipped. Then the girl leaves that inn. She picks up a hitchhiker who needs a ride into town. She takes him to town, and the guy gets out of the car. And now we're following the hitchhiker guy who turns out to be a police instructor who's teaching morals and ethics to the police. And he keeps getting interrupted because the cops, "Oh, hey, there's a crime on this. Oh, there's an accident, blah, blah, blah." So the cops have to leave. And then at the end, he starts teaching a class to the 2 remaining cops. And he tells them about a dream he had where he went to a dinner party where instead of, sitting in chairs, they sat at a table and they sat at toilets. And everybody sits down, "Oh, come on in. And then they sit down, they take their pants off, and they sit at toilets at the dinner table. So they're all like pooping and peeing together. And then there's a little girl at the table. She says, "Oh, I'm hungry, Mom." And the mom's like, "Shh, we don't talk about that at the table." And then one of the guys gets up. He says to the maid, "Hey, where's the dining room?" And she leads him over to a secret area. And it's the bathroom. He sits down. He opens up a hole in the wall, and there's a tray of food. And he's sitting there eating in private, as if the reverse, obviously. Instead of eating in public, they're pooping in public and eating in private. I don't know what the fuck that means. It's one of those movies, and so it continues like that. That guy finishes his story. Then we never meet those monks. We never meet the kid and his aunt again. The bathroom story is just a story. And then somebody who was listening to that story, we follow that person. So it's a series of vignettes going from one character to another. And I thought, wow, that would be an interesting screenwriting trick, to tell a moving story that doesn't really have a point of view, but just like a day in the life of an object, for example. I think there's a movie like that, actually. They follow a gun around, maybe. Or maybe, I think there's a movie where they follow a dollar bill around. Anyway, this movie, I think, my opinion, believes it's more clever than it is. I think this movie thinks it's hilarious. And to be fair, there's some funny things in it. But you'd be shocked to hear me say that this Luis Bunuel film feels like a Zucker Brothers comedy. Or it's trying to be a Zucker Brothers comedy. A lot of the gags in here, right out of Zucker Brothers type stuff. There's a famous sequence where parents are alerted that their daughter has gone missing from school. They get to the school, they get to the classroom, the little girl is there. She's like, "Mom and Dad, I'm here." She goes, "Shh, don't interrupt the adults." The principal's talking. The principal's taking roll. The little girl says, "I'm here." And the principal's like, "See? I don't know where she went." And they're like, "Okay, fine, let's go to the police." So they get the daughter and they take her to the police. And the police they're being interviewed by the police captain. The police captain is like, "Okay, and is this the little girl who's missing?" And they're like, yes, this is her. He goes, "Okay, good. I'm glad you brought her. It's easier to know who we're looking for if she's here." And then they go, "Okay, and blonde hair, brown eyes, perfect. Okay, we're gonna send out an APB and we're gonna find her. What does that mean? What exactly is he? Is he making fun of? Is he making fun of the bourgeoisie? As it seems like he's always making fun of. Is he making fun of conventions? Is he making fun of parents' attention spans? Is he making fun of? Is it a comedy of manners, like you hear people say? I don't know. In this movie, there's one of the special features. They interview the screenwriter. He says, "We were just making up nonsense. We were just having fun." So he admits that there was no greater purpose to the madness in this movie. Maybe, in a twisted way, Luis Bunuel had an idea. But to me, as a modern audience goer, it plays kind of stupid. I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to get a thumbs down for it. That's fine. I'm going to have to be honest with you. That's what you expect from me. It plays kind of stupid. It's kind of dumb. To the point you're like, this is just stupid. It's not even Zucker Brothers funny enough to laugh at. It's more like, that's just dumb, man. And then we get an incomprehensible ending where there's some kind of war at the zoo. To me, this is the worst one, and it's one I'll probably never rewatch unless I forget what it's about. It just feels like an overbaked Zucker Brothers comedy that thinks it has something to say, but I don't really think it does. Lastly here, The Obscure Object of Desire. This is actually the first Luis Bunuel movie I ever watched. I liked it the first time I watched it. Rewatching it now, I think it plays a little more annoying. Essentially what you have here is the ultimate gold digger movie. There's a guy who falls in love with his maid. And he wants her. He desperately needs her. He craves her. But she keeps him at arm's length. He gives her money. He buys her a house. And she's like, oh, I love you so much. But I'm saving myself because I don't know if I give myself to you if you'll still love me. Essentially, she's a gold digger. She's an annoying and frustrating human being that this poor schlub just absolutely adores. The name makes sense. She is that obscure object of desire. We don't know why he loves her so much. He just feels compelled to love her. Now, of course, the conceit here, the gimmick, is that two actresses play Conchita, which is the object of desire, making it more obscure because she's played by two different actresses. So is he saying, oh, this is cool because it's not so much what she looks like, it's what she represents or what her energy is that he's attracted to? You could say that, but the truth is, Luis Bunuel's just fucking with you. He's just like the best artists. Salvador Dali is just fucking with you. Luis Bunuel's fucking with you, man. They say it in the special features. They had one actress picked. She sucked. Nobody liked her. So they went out and tried to find another actress. They found two that he liked. And he said, I'll use both. That's it, man. That's it. It's nothing deeper than that. He was just fucking with them. And I mean, he does say one represents the colder side and one represents the warmer side. I think you can tell who's who. The colder side is played by Carol Bouquet. Blanking on her name right now. Carol, I'm going to find it right here. Yeah, Carol Bouquet, who is Melina in one of the James Bond films. The Spy Who Loved Me? The Spy Who Loved Me. She's the assassin girl with the bow and arrow. Or the crossbow. She's in this. You see her naked. Hooray. There's a lot of energy in here, which is fantastic. But ultimately, he's just fucking with you. The conceit, yeah, the two actresses play the same character. It could be confusing at first. But once you kind of know that, it's fun to, just watch it. It's what I would call a romantic comedy. But probably the most frustrating romantic comedy ever made. It's still a fun watch, though. There's a lot of it that doesn't make any sense. There's like terrorism. There's a whole terrorism subplot that I don't know what the hell that's about. I didn't get any of that. I know there's probably some kind of... half of it takes place in Spain and half of it in France. So there's probably some kind of thing, with Marxism or whatever terrorist situation was going on at the time. Or maybe he's just kind of lampooning that. Essentially, he's just fucking with us. And he's adapting a novel here. And he's making a love story with one character played by two actresses. And he's fucking with you. I'm going to give this one... It's frustrating, but it's a fun watch. It's a fun watch, and you can really get into it. I'm going to give it 3 stars as well. I didn't give a rating to Phantom of Liberty. That gets 1 star because I just thought it was just so, in my opinion, stupid. Not a popular opinion, I understand, but it's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it. If they fit in here, I'm sticking to it. I don't know what the hell's going on. There we go. That works. Okay, 3 films by Luis Bunuel. Do I regret buying this? No, because I'm a student of cinema. And when I have time, I will go back and listen to the commentaries and things like that. I'm sure this is like... Some of these movies are so dense. They're like onions, and you have to peel them back over and over and over again. And you have to study them. You have to learn from them. And you have to see things that maybe the filmmaker did not intend. That happens all the time. I see that a lot in B movies. I think why B movies appeal to us exploitation fans and you know trash horror fans, because we see something in them that most people don't see. There's a purity, there's an artistry to those movies that in stuff like this, kind of heavy-handed stuff like this, it's almost like they're trying too hard. Whereas in the B movies, it comes off almost like real life. We're seeing, I mean, even if it's about a chicken man or zombies or whatever, there's something pure. There's something that speaks to the heart of what cinema is, of what capturing a dream is like, that those movies get right. Whereas something like this, which seems to try so hard, feels almost like dumb. Like, you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard to make a dream. I mean, the God Monster of Indian Flats doesn't try that hard. And that is not a great movie, but it is a perfect dream. It's the reason cinema exists. However, I love Criterion, and I love their exhaustive coverage on films like this. And I'm glad I have this in my collection, because this is cinema history. And while these aren't my favorite Luis Bunuel films, I'm glad I have this in my collection. Do I recommend it? Only if you're a Criterion collector. Only if you've seen these movies before. If you haven't, this is not for somebody to start their collection on. This is not for a newbie in art films, in European films. This is not where you start. This is where you end up. And then you can form your own opinion. I know these movies have a lot of love. My opinion is, I think they think they're smarter than they are. That's how I feel about it. Well, that'll do, pal. That has been another box set review on this lovely Sunday. I hope you're doing well. I'm sending you lots of love, and thank you for watching. Remember, if you want to support your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos, in the description, you can buy me a coffee. That's how you keep this channel going. I haven't mentioned a lot of details. I'm preparing a big video explaining what's happening with the channel and the monetization, but Master Chaos TV will never be monetized. What is the future of Master Chaos TV? That remains to be seen. But you help it by showing me that you care. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a sub if you have not already. I'll be here tomorrow with a Mail Day Monday. I'm going to have a whole bunch of crazy crap I'm opening. My Cauldron films, the second wave is in. What else do I got? I think my Lucky Stars box set from Eureka just came in. I'm opening a whole bunch of random stuff. Some surprises in it. I don't even remember what I got. I'm opening a really cool t-shirt. Oh my god. Wait till you see this t-shirt. It's going to blow your mind. Okay, pal. I love you very much. I just wanted to tell you that. And I hope you're well. Sending you lots of love. Remember, I love you just the way you are. And I remain to be continued.